It is Sunday, the 12th of July 2015. My name is Najma Ismail. Now, CORD leader Raila Odinga is blaming the government for allowing corruption to flourish in the civil service. Raila says that by the president failing to take action on the cabinet secretary for devolution and planning, Waiguru, that he has turned a blind eye on alleged corrupt activities at the National Youth Service. The opposition leader has been calling for the suspension of Waiguru over alleged procurement irregularities and an attempt to steal 800 million shillings at the NYS.
So for both women and the youth of Kenya, you've given 1.5 billion shillings. But in the NYS, you've put 25 billion shillings. You ask yourself, what for? What for? And on this other side, you say that you are trying to help the youth. If you want to help the youth, then you should have given them the 25 billion shillings you are giving to NYS. That is when people will know that you are serious with the youth.
President Uhuru Kenyatta will carefully examine the amendments to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Amendment Bill as proposed by the National Assembly. Members of Parliament passed an amendment by MP Chris Mumalwa to remove EACC bosses Halake Wako and Michael Mubea before the bill is signed into law. State House spokesman Manoa Esipisu announced at a media briefing today.
These investments show that Kenyans have the skills and aptitude to match the very highest international standards, even in this area. I'm glad to say that the investors who visited yesterday have structured their proposals to meet our needs. In particular, we will work with them to help young Kenyans develop their interest and expertise in the energy sector. The better to ensure that the energy sector produces the next Safaricoms of this world, the next big breakthrough for Kenyan ingenuity and invention. You all know Parliament recently voted to approve and amend the EACC bill. That amendment, if it should take effect, would remove the EACC's chief executive and the deputy. Parliament has not yet transmitted the instruments to the President for his assent. When it does, His Excellency the President will give the contents of the bill careful thought as is custom. He will apply his mind, and once he's done that, he will make a statement as to how he wishes to proceed.
Now, the government says that a lot of opportunities exist for youth to create their own jobs and therefore with their own health. But young people in Kenya insist that the so-called great opportunities only exist on paper. KTN Stanley Bichu dug deeper into the youth unemployment and poverty crisis in Kenya.
The government is cognizant of the fact that unless we invest in the potential of our youth and women, we will not achieve real demographic and gender dividend in the future. Therefore, in this budget, I'm allocating 850 million for the Wezo Fund, 500 million for the Women Enterprise Fund, and 300 million for the Youth Enterprise Fund.
We want to see not just the 30% that we promised women, youth, and persons with disabilities out of government contracts, but we also now want to begin seeing at least a minimum of 40% of government purchasing being from local entrepreneurs.
In a quest to drive the economy transformation agenda, unemployment, among other relative factors, has proven a difficult experience, especially for the youth in Kenya. A major obstacle to the full utilization of human ideologies and resources that exist despite a relatively strong economical growth in the region over the last decade. But the big question is, just how much do we depend on the government to create employment opportunities?
Mwananchi anafaa kuja na kazi na ideas. Serikali inatuboost. Na ikutuboost ni ile pesa ambayo wanatoa zitufikie si wananchi ndio to create jobs. Lakini hiyo pesa nayo unajua sasa ikitolewa hazitufikii, idea tuko nazo.
Mimi ndalilia serikali ikizidi tu create man. Mimi siwezi create ya kila mtu, na create yangu peke yake. Na pia si lazima ni ya shida ile itoshi bado.
Many people hold the opinion that the rate of unemployment can be minimized only if Kenyans also focus to present opportunities that are currently unexploited.
If you sit around and wait for the government to come, the government will always be there. It has always been there and it will forever be there. So as youth, let us be more of citizens rather than being subjects. Because when you're being subject, then meaning that you are being subjected to negative powers and negative influence to cover us.
Kenyans are used to cry to the government for help. Even me, I used to cry. But when I realized that the government is just there to serve the whole nation, but opportunities are lying with us. It is only about us opening our eyes and realizing them. Then we just make a difference.
We need to change our mindset. The government spends billions of shillings on technology every year, and yet none of it is spent amongst our people. I don't understand why. Yeah? It's easier to make money out there than it is to make money from you. But we shall change this, and I want to promise you that we shall change this.
Is the government doing enough in creating jobs for the youth?
Wapi manze, karibu kila mtu ni jobless man. Sasa unapata, hao ndio wanafanya create majob. Juu sisi hatuna kanini ama kanini. Juu wewe utasemaje tuta create job hapa? Kanjo ikikupata hapa inakutoa mbio mbaya sana.
Nani una feel analegea sana katika kazi yake?
Serikali ndio wanatufail, lakini serikali iko sawa. But the big fish hao ndio wanatuharibu sasa, hao ndio wanakula kila kitu.
On its part to address unemployment, the government has had 3 recruitment exercises of 31,000 NYS servicemen and women. This will engage in national service programs all over the country in areas such as building dams and water ponds, drilling water, agricultural activities, vector and border control. This number is expected to rise to 42,000 by November this year.
Young people in this country who have shown me some incredible innovations that they have had. But I must say that I am increasingly becoming disappointed by our inability to be able to tap into that energy, to be able to tap into those innovations.
Well, there may be a variation in the general public's opinion of who between the government and the Kenyans themselves is more tasked in creating more job opportunities and tapping into business ideas. However, though, one thing stands, that we all have the ability to do anything and everything. The difference is how we use that ability. Stanley Mbichu, KTN, Nairobi.
There was joy and celebration at Sigurgan village in Bomet County during the arrival of Frederick Chirchir, who was rescued from a kidnapping by the Al-Shabaab militants in June 2013. The father of one was kidnapped during a patrol in Somalia. He was rescued when the Kenya Defence Forces stormed the Al-Shabaab hideout. Several local leaders converged at his home to welcome him.
Kila ogose walelengisi kwamba swete kakomuta akolimbo Nandi olimbo te Boitalel akityo kecheng.
Tunaomba tufanye hii arambe
and everybody has a freedom of worship. Tunakubali kabisa that this is a country that we will remain united, and we will, both of us, Christians and Muslims, fight Al-Shabaab, the enemy that is an enemy of all of them. Umesikia hata kule Somali wanapiga wa Somali, hawa ndio wamepigwa kabisa na kuwawa, na hawa ni Islam na hawa ni wanaongea lugha moja.
Time now for a short break, but don't go too far. I will be back with more news. National Assembly to enact the gender rule in time has prompted the leadership of county assemblies in the former Western Province to propose amendments to the Constitution of Kenya Amendments Bill 2015. This is under the banner Green Amendment campaign that comprises of the Kenya Parliamentary Human Rights Association and Kenya Human Rights. They propose the abolition of the nomination of women in county assemblies. Members of the county assemblies from Kakamega, Bungoma, Busia and Vihiga passed a resolution yesterday at a workshop in Kakamega that brought together speakers, majority and minority, leaders and chairmen of communities of their respective areas.
Proceed. Then after that, wait.
All the formulas that we applied, but what I wanted to, she was really humiliated. So we are really wondering, that's my thing. If you're going to have justice, let's go with Formula 136. Let the...
Thank you. Now, you start for...
The county assembly leaders have specifically discussed and endorsed the proposed Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2015 Formula 136 to fix the wards in the counties at 1450, to do away with the nominations at the county assemblies, and that the only nominations be those under Article 54(2), to do with the interests of the persons with the disabilities, the elderly, and the marginalized groups.
To sports now, the Kenya national women's volleyball team beat Peru 3-1 in the World Grand Prix in Canberra, Australia, to emerge overall winners of the WGP Group 3. The team is set to qualify for promotion to Group 3 next year. Kenya went into the final round of Group 3 buoyed by their win against host Australia yesterday. Despite Malkia's strikers falling behind in the first set of match 25-21 due to poor back row, reception head coach David Lungaho restored faith in his starting pack, who went on to win the second set 25-17. The third and fourth set were all Malkias, as the Africa Queens claimed a 25-22, 25-23 win to the gold medal. Kenya now has booked a place in the prestigious Group 2 of the World Grand Prix. Well, thank you very much for watching The Weekend at 1. My name is Najma Ismail.